Okay, welcome back. So today we're going to explore some of the teachings that have kind of come upon my path, some of the wisdom and knowledge I've stumbled upon as this incarnation, and yours truly. So today we're going to explore again is the body, and kind of the goal again is to basically get to know ourselves. So kind of like in the Matrix, know thyself, what the Oracle said. And to truly know ourselves, we have to be able to get into our body. We have to take this conscious mind, this beautiful, very powerful um, uh, piece of us that we've developed, and that right now is kind of guarded by this ego. And it's kind of like, if you want to go into Brungian psychology, like, with the ego, the id, and the superego. But let's not go there. Let's use, so most of what I've learned comes from anime and art, and then like other practices. So Mahamudra for spiritual practice, Tai Chi and Kung Fu for physical practice, dancing obviously, and then ayahuasca helped kind of unlock a lot of these things that had been laying dormant. They were there, they were the seeds, but now like the ayahuasca was like the super fertilizer and to awaken these different states, these different modes within the body, and kind of like recalibrate and resynchronize the mind with the body. So here we are. We're looking at a seven chakra system in Dragon Ball. There's like seven Dragon Balls. So it's kind of the same thing. So you got to collect them all. And right now, what we're gonna explore is what is happening within the current paradigm, the modern mind. Let's call it that. What happened to the modern mind? That although we have all these wisdoms and knowledge and books upon books and programs after program and yoga studios popping up more than Starbucks is. What exactly is happening? Why is there still a blockage? At least from the time being, this is accelerating. So the purpose of this is again acceleration. We can be there. We can be enlightened. We can be enlightened. Doesn't mean like there's like you're mightier than thou or just like better than anybody else. No, not at all. It's like just you can be yourself. Your vulnerable self, your childish self, your mean self. At the same time, is having access to that somatic wisdom that can be both fierce and stern, like a good grandpa or grandma or mom or dad, and also can be gentle, like a good lover or a friend. And again, this is within our body. And again, the trick is right now is like the mind is under spell, and this is what we're going to explore today. What is the spell? So here I'm. So here we're looking at basically this is the it's going to be yeah. So this is the self. Let's above this line is the conscious self. Above this line, and this purple fog here, this purple haze, is a subconscious. So this is the subconscious, where it's kind of like weird shit happens. And then when we're not awakened, and then there's the unconscious self. So this is like deals with everything else, like like the limbic system, like it organizes the organs, the flow. Like we're not particularly aware. I'm not commanding consciously my heart to beat every however often it beats. So what we're going to dive in today is this little piece, like this little square there, which actually is, look at it later on, but if you can see, it's a little, it's been, it's a little square. So this little square is our ego. So like, let me make it like this, that. So this is the ego. And the ego is basically, in the Matrix, they call it residual self-image. It's an image. It's a projection. And the how it happens, how it develops, was whatever persona or character, and it comes from basically our parents. And in this day and age, we have different ways to be parents, which is awesome. This shows that there's progress. at the same time, we still prey to our prejudices. So although we could have two dads or two moms, um, um, we could have two moms. We're still being imprinting differently, and in a kind of, because it is okay. So I explain. So like, but then we go to school, and the school system is the goal of the school system is standardization. It's homogeny. It's to create a society that basically conforms. And what does it conform to do? To purchase, to buy things. And then it doesn't matter really what the religious beliefs, because they're mostly dualistic. I'm including Taoism and Buddhism in here, just because as a belief systems. Practices is completely different. If you're a practicing Christian, you don't really need to go and believe in something. You embody Christ and behave like Christ. And the same thing for all the other Western religions. So this is where I want to differentiate between belief and behavior. Behavior, if you're acting in a compassionate way, then then it ends here. But the issue is that our beliefs dictate, so they turn into, so this imprinting, this amalgamation turns into laws within the psyche, within the ego. And these laws, then give us a sense of right and wrong. And again, this is dualistic. We see that before. This is like the wrong kind of dualism. It's like it makes us go towards and it gets off the path. It makes us gravitate towards the positive and neglect the negative. And this is when we do that, we create this subconscious layer, and then from the subconscious layer, everything we negate on a daily basis, on a moment by moment basis, becomes basically a shadow. And the shadow, I'm gonna exemplify it right here. So, oops, yeah, perfect. Here, and then whatever where the shadow is. And so, if you see, there's the shadow, and the shadow is a 2D projection. And in the shadow, everything we neglect, everything we deny, everything we kind of say no to subconsciously because it irks us, then gets projected back into kind of like our perception. And then our ego is having a war between the shadow and so it's versus, So this is, and then this war between our imagined self, our self-image, and this shadow becomes an external war. So then all of a sudden we have manifestations of this in society, and then that recreates, like it keeps verifying, it creates another shadow, and then it's like this vicious circle where we're in constant battle mode. And on top of that, so let's zoom in a little bit. So it creates this jail, basically. So the shadow creates this jail, and this is kind of like our playground. Like this is like the limitation. We can't get past it, even as adults. We can't get past this little jail. And let's say, for example, we, after a while, we say big, let's put it in bold, let's say like let's do in orange, actually. Yeah, let's say a big, bold, fiery no. You say no to this. Then we start encountering the walls. So the walls, and here we'll take the illustration here. So the walls that get created then, after we say no, the first thing is we encounter is fear. So it's like, well, I said no, now I'm afraid. We're afraid, but we're afraid, one, maybe of course being rejected by the society, but really it's ourselves. So our shadow, we're like, whoa, okay, so, and then everything becomes into doubt. So the first wall that we're gonna is difficult, it's gonna be fear. And then, but let's say we conquer that fear. You know, we're like, yeah, no to fear, and then we smile at it, and we're like, yeah, bring it on, you know, and we're smiling, you know, smile at fear, super bold. She's like, yeah, bring it on, you know, and it's fun. So then all of a sudden this wall gets eliminated. So da, 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 so cool. But now we have another wall, and this wall, and this again linked to the chakras over there, and this other wall is kind of like made up of lust and guilt. So as soon as that happened, I say, yeah, 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 I smile at fear, I conquer my fear, boom. But now society and even the psyche will dangle these carrots or these objects of desire, and then we'll bounce back, and then maybe like, oh, now I'm fearful, but I'm getting what I want. But again, it's mixed with this guilt. So it's like this weird feedback loop that we're not able to get out of. Because all of a sudden it's like, well, yeah, so we're fearful, but again, we gotta say no. And what does that mean? So this is not denying what we desire, but this is just enjoying the pleasure. And when we enjoy, it becomes again this old thing here, but let's make it blue. With the warmest color. So then we're able to transcend that and just enjoy. And we enjoy both having what we want and not having what we want. So this is beyond duality. This is we even enjoy the defeat. We enjoy, not getting what we want. And it changes the interplay because now all of a sudden we have dominion of our desires as opposed to being ruled by them. So then this wall will collapse. And then there's the third wall. And the third wall can be tricky because this is when society was like, well, and also like in the story of the Buddha, that was kind of like the last temptation from Mara was he used Dharma. And he used Dharma, not Buddha Dharma, but he used Dharma as duty. And the duty is like, well, don't you, why are you neglecting your duty? You're so and so. You're a father. You're a mother. You're a lover, a boyfriend, a girlfriend. There's always a way. You're a worker. So there's always some kind of pride associated with. And then that's what will be like society and in the service of these narratives will be very loud. And this is a very difficult wall. And most people actually get stuck there because all of a sudden what this creates. It creates programs, monasteries. It's like, well, you have to fit within the society somehow. So it creates walled gardens, basically. It creates little Japanese gardens everywhere. And then this kind of where we're stuck. So we got stuck here, and the key is that we're not going to be stuck there for long. So how do we get over this, or how do we? Well, this is where it becomes kind of fun. So really, this level, let's change that. So when we're able, this is where willpower gets engaged. So this is really when the practices come into play. So here, when we're able to ignite the willpower, let's find a cool let's say will. When we're able to engage the willpower, we're like, no. We're like, I'm going to go through this, and this is where the practices become very keen. So at this point, if you have developed a practice of meditation, you can hear the kind of this pride shame construct, and then be like, nah, this is not who I am, and this is not me talking. This is something else. This is programmed. And this is where I feel, from my experience, this is where martial arts are key, because although you may again, here's what, like, the shadow is not the problem. So the ego will create an enemy, and this is where like all of a sudden we'll put like these things to fight against. And here, the only thing to fight against is actually this idea of fighting. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like, paradoxical. At the same time, we are part of a greater whole. We're part of a greater planet. When we develop these practices of meditation, martial arts, and psychedelics, then it becomes very simple to see past the kind of like the subterfuge, the kind of the running code. And this is where the will gets engaged. So then all of a sudden the will doesn't go backwards. So the problem is normally like it goes backwards. Even when we hit this wall, like, yeah, well now I'm gonna create something that people can enjoy, and then I'm gonna be smiling, and then it creates this feedback loop, and then we get stuck there. And that's where I feel like cults get created, religions get created, just books get written, and nothing against books. It's just that we need to get over that. Because knowledge is not going to get us out of this problem. It's literally direct experience and somatic wisdom. So how do we do this? So when we develop the power to break down this wall, this is where it gets fun. So like we're going to change a little bit the territory here. I'm going to grab this bad boys over here. So here, get a nice little area. So here's the same kind of idea. So this is death, but now we've gotten rid of the walls. So the walls are gone, and that allows our conscious mind to vacate and go towards, and what we'll encounter here is the wish-granting gem tree. This comes from Robert Thurman. It's Tibetan wisdom, and then when we have the practices and all that, we will encounter this tree. And this tree is like a metaphorical tree where these jewels that we get, these jewels are made of all our teachers, all our teachings, past, present, and future. And the beauty of this is that so now we have these jewels, and what these jewels do, they basically show us that it was not all in vain. We managed to get the conscious mind into, and also this is kind of like right before the heart, and it allows to cross over the subconscious. It allows to get the conscious mind, past this. This is kind of like at the border. Move it. This is at the border. So, this is at the border, and then it allows for the rest of the journey. And the rest of the journey takes us somewhere really fun. So, go back down and go grab this bad boy. So this. This is kind of like the mountain. So this is kind of like stories like the Lord of the Rings touch on this. So this is the mountain. This is the core of ourselves, and the core of ourselves is kind of the heart. Really, it's the heart, and the heart is kind of like in the middle of the mountain. Kind of like in here. This is where we get this bad boy heart here. And then we climb up. So this is the fourth chakra. And then we climb up, and then we kind of get to the ether. So the ether is like this nebulous place where sound and air vibrates. And it's a fun little place. In another novel that was kind of influential in my upbringing, they talk about the Temple of the Winds. So this is kind of, we enter this level of like kind of like the ether, and here we get again a reverberation of our knowledge, of our, and this is what kind of way we breathe it in, like, wow, oh, this feels good, or this feels true. And then when we unlock that, when we pass that, when that is opened, when that fifth chakra is open, when that fifth level is open, we get the sixth, the all-seeing eye. And you know, obviously in the Lord of the Rings, it was the Eye of Sauron. This is where it flips. Like it's, you know, it could look evil from one side, it could look good from the other, but it's this third eye. And at this point, then we see that basically all this structuring is an illusion. And basically, we're one big thing. And now we get a real map, a real, you know, this is where like these borders get away and we're able to perceive directly. That's what the whole talk. And after that, when we're able to unlock the seventh chakra, this is where we all of a sudden have access to the cosmic energy. And when we have access to the cosmic energy, then we have a choice. And that choice, that what happens is either we're going to stay at this level, the kind of the human level, or we get to exit if we want. And this is kind of like the difference between immolation and suicide. If the practices have been done, we are able to exit. But again, it feels like, I mean, from my perspective, this level is really fun. It's difficult as hell. At the same time, this is where we're at, and it's kind of fun. It can be fun. And so this is when we come back down to the heart, with the fourth level, and we start resonating from it. So when we get here, we get this bad boy. You know, we go here, go here, go here. So now we got the fourth level open. So we basically what happened is we came back down. So we use, now we have access to the cosmic energy. You know, it's able to come down. We have access to kind of like the natural energy in the form of like this kind of like vibrating DNA. You know, it kind of comes up like, and it looks like in this ayahuasca experience I had, it looked like these beautiful snakes that were like neon snakes, almost like exactly like that actually. And then from here, what will happen is we can start resonating. And then from here, we can start resonating. And it's kind of like, you know, we're able to, now with this, we combine this bad boy over here. And all of a sudden we have this kind of toroid shape around us that with practice can be you know, shrunk and written at will. And then the goal is kind of to keep it like in connection, so like interconnection. This is like the magical web that is interconnected, that is invisible to us really. At the same time, we feel it, and we feel it through the body. The body will tell us. So pretty much that's kind of where we're at in terms of mapping both the chakras and kind of tying into the conscious mind, and then giving you an idea of and sharing. Really, this is me sharing the perspective of the point of view. It will be different for you, and this is the exciting part. We're all unique. We all have different ways to get here. At the same time, it is very important that we don't fall prey to this, because this is very convincing. These walls are very convincing, and we all meet them on almost a moment-by-moment basis in society. And this is part of the challenge. We need to be able to collapse these walls, and we need to be able to not get trapped into our own, because by now our conscious mind is very clever, it's very keen. Our ego we are our worst enemy in terms that the ego is very sophisticated. But yes, we have to give it praise. At the same time, we can't be slaves to it. And the beauty of it, after this happens, this becomes in service of the rest and in service of the body. So that at that point, there's a more of a harmony that happens within the body and within the self. So this is kind of like know thyself, then know yourself, and then we're able to be like Neo, and we all get to be Neo. Let's put it fun. We all get to be one. Well, thank you for watching, and until next time.